Hey yo everyone, this is a HappyAnimaidCafeManager here with another walkthrough episode for the game Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So anyway, look. Lon says that this picture shows exactly what happened that day. And that's for that thing that looks like the blue badger's head. It's really supposed to be the vase, but I presented it in the last episode, but it did nothing. I presented the evidence list. It didn't do anything. Found in chief can't save evidence for something, but what? There's Emma Sky's print. But what did she see? ID card record, fingerprint, screwdriver. I haven't presented the screwdriver yet. Anyway, to see progress towards the end of the last episode where I had my 5 chances. I want to lose them all at some point or another. Yeah, I'm seriously having trouble with this one. Okay, I tried showing the switchblade. I tried showing the unstable jar. Try showing the evidence list. Okay, what did I show off? Let's see, switchblade knife, unstable jar, evidence list, and screwdriver. All I have to present now is a strip of cloth and an autopsy report. Stabbed in the back wall, died from punctured heart and lungs. Autopsy report. Saw that instant. After that, I must have fainted. The flash of light was so bright, all I could see was shouts. The rest of the testimony doesn't seem to. I pressed through her other testimonies, but it doesn't seem to help. Sorry for asking. Well, are you sure exactly what you drew? Of course, this is exactly the scene. I wasn't influenced in any way of your talk with the detective. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out for her. He might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. I don't think anyone's memory would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, there's something that's bothering you about this picture, huh? Oh, well, that's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. Yeah, I just show that again. Just a minute, make sure I probably triggered something in the testimony, but wasn't it supposed to present the evidence? I don't think that won me any points with the judge. That's enough. This court sees no reason for further prolong this trial. The defense has failed to give the court sufficient reason to doubt the prosecutor's claim. The court finds the defendant, Ms. Lawrence Guy, all I gotta do is try again. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Anyway, at least I could take another crack at it. Exactly what I saw in that instant. Show the evidence list twice, the jar, the pocket knife, and the screwdriver. Oh no, I'm gonna try again. Just show off everything I have. So yeah, even if it means I'm gonna get like a couple game overs. Oh, I should have shown off the autopsy report at the beginning. Because the odds of that are way better than the photograph. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. In fact, you don't even have to look closely to see that. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Huh? Where could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it could possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? That the tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About the little something called falsified evidence? They're trading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Order! 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 Are you saying that investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor. Please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room, and Prosecutor Marshall was chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could have not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark? Could there have been one? There is another one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright? In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about the other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh? I'm sure this must all be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright. But may I remind you that the fate of Miss Lana Sky hangs on the balance. So sorry, Your Honor. Please give me another chance. The murder weapon has already broken prior to the... There's only one. Take a look at this. Here's a real murder weapon. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the ceremony, of the award ceremony. Let me revise that. This is a picture of the award ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor Marshall was holding? That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the picture was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood this award. Order! 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 Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and a broken knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising his knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait! I remember now. I remember everything. Witness, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with the picture? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Guy? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward the both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The head of the Detective of Criminal Affairs didn't even design him until last year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Stop, please! Don't pursue this any further! Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. I panicked and rushed toward both of them. Man, the sound effects from my Wiimote is starting to get sketchy. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife, but as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at that time. When that dark guy knocked me down, all I could think about was I've got to help Mr. Marshall. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Wait a matter of just a few seconds, this guy was almost killed. Then she witnessed the murder about to take place. A little disoriental is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Miss Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What did you do? What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next? Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here. But the head detective of Criminal Affairs saw this hideous beast, and that was just this year. The blue badger didn't even exist 2 years ago. This is, quote, all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now that I finally remembered. Oh, brother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face when with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had the 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must have been mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who was this blue badger really? I just might know. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamed up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on top of the fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now staying in this very room. Mr. Wright. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us the mysterious blue badger look-alike. Final fragment found in Chief Gant's blood trace. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if it were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle to show them this form. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this star's resemblance to the blue badger. No! It can't be! Order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that blue badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see? This changes everything. Indeed? Very well then. Please tell us. What's the difference now that we know the witness saw this jar? The location, the murder weapon, the murderer. What's different? The location. allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. Not only that, but she saw it at a very specific angle, knowing that where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in this picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on the shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that are revealed what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what the reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf and the jar was staying on, what would he have hit? Ah! The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to been Neil Marshall wielding the prosecutor's award. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there was another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I could go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming that the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Oh my God, poor Emma. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life. And that then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How could you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that, coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved the Prosecutor Marshall's body. Even though I've screwed up a couple times, but I'm still willing to go along with this. Until next time, to be continued, baby.